And our resident physiotherapist, Indira, is here as well. Indira, hi.
Hello, Steve.
Welcome back. It's great to have you here. And obviously, it's really important, isn't it, to look after your back support at all times. And your posture is probably one of the most important things. What's the most important thing?
Well, we've talked about how posture affects our circulation and our musculature. However, we haven't talked about the secondary side effects of bad posture or bad sitting or sitting on a bad chair. So if I start from the head, if sitting down, we said, reduces your circulation. So poor circulation can sometimes lead to blood clots, and those blood clots can go directly to your brain and lead to a stroke.
Wow.
Now, if we talk about come down a bit to your heart, we know that people that lead sedentary lifestyles and have poor posture are at double the risk of cardiovascular disease.
Yeah.
Going to the lungs. So poor posture, cave our chest in. We're not breathing as effectively because our diaphragm is squashed as well. And we're just doing shallow breathing. So we start developing respiratory issues.
Wow.
If we move along to our stomach, we know that we gain a lot of weight. But also what happens is the pancreas releases a hormone called insulin, right, which takes glucose to different cells for energy. But when your muscles are not moving, idle muscles don't really respond to that insulin, and the pancreas develops more and more insulin, which leads to diabetes. So it can increase your chances of getting diabetes. Wow. And if you move to the legs, like we said, you know, you'll have muscle atrophy in your glutes and your lower extremities. However, you'll sometimes notice if you're sitting down for a long period of time, you probably notice this if you're on a long haul flight, your legs start swelling up.
Yes.
Yeah, so you get a lot of swelling, and it doesn't just stop there with posture or seating. It's when you go to bed. That fluid that collects in your legs can travel upwards, and that can cause obstructive sleep apnea as well.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not just what you see on the outside.
No,
or
absolutely.
Just,
There's a knock-on effect, and the different parts of the body can be affected. Obviously, this is not the case for everyone.
No.
But it definitely is something that could affect you in different areas, and that's
right.
an overall idea of what could happen. You know, so what are the side effects from the wrong chair? I guess the points you touched on are obvious, but with the wrong kind of support or the wrong chair that you're using, your posture can be completely thrown, which can cause all sorts of issues. What's the side effects of sitting all day in the wrong chair? What can people expect, obviously, because they might be able to relate to this?
Yeah, so they can feel anxiousness.
Yep.
They can feel a lot of tight muscles, and they'll get a lot of cramping. The cramping is the most common one that you get, especially in your calves. And also a lot of weight gain, and they'll feel sluggish. And another one I forgot to tell you was the digestion.
Oh, gosh.
So it slows down your digestive system a lot.
So sitting, Indira, in a chair like this, the Hara, which looks after your posture, tell us what the benefits will be.
Well, the benefit is definitely the stretch that you get to your spine, which you can't get with any other chair. So we are ideally supposed to be getting up every 60 to 90 minutes to stretch or walk, but we don't, especially with work from home. There's no lunch breaks, there's no morning tea breaks, there's no afternoon tea breaks. No one's really watching, and no one's being accountable for themselves. So if you have a chair like this, you can self-stretch at any time without having to invest.
That is so, there's something just so invigorating and relaxing. And I mean, you know, I see it with I say this, but I see this with my puppy dog every single morning. She gets up, she stretches out, and I think to myself, gosh, I should be doing that. But this is, I know it sounds, but I do, I think to myself, it's human nature to actually stretch your muscles out if you've been in the wrong position. So this is actually allowing you to do this, right? So you'll form that habit. If you start to do it, like you said, twice a day, you'll start to feel those benefits of, okay, right, now I can get back to work.
Yeah, because the human body is not designed to be sitting all day. We're supposed to be gatherers and hunters and getting up and moving around, but we're not doing that anymore. We're very sedentary, and so this makes a huge difference.
I think the thing about the chair that I noticed the most is obviously the seating, because the dual seat that you've got here, when I first saw it, I thought, ooh, I'm not used to seeing that. I'm used to seeing just a normal one part. Let me ask you, as a physiotherapist, what's the benefit of, you know, this being separated in the dual seat rather than just one seat?
All right, well, let me show you. If I stand up, you'll notice that a lot of people usually prefer one side over the other. If you're standing up for a long time, you won't see anyone standing up like this for 1 hour, 2 hours,
Sure.
3 hours. They'll sort of tilt to one side. That's the same thing carries on to when you're sitting.
Right.
So if you have that dual seat, you'll be able to adjust yourself and balance, evenly distribute your weight.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Because obviously, if you're slouching on one side or the other, it's the same when you're sitting, which is going to help with the pelvis, which helps with the lower back, and then obviously has a knock-on effect throughout the entire back, which is why if you've got a sore back at the moment, it could be down to the chair that you're sitting in hours and hours and hours on end. What about the lumbar support and the back support in this? Because this is a lot different to what most chairs we see. So what can we benefit from this?
So in a normal spine, I mentioned earlier, we're supposed to have a slight curve and also a slight curve in our lumbar region, so just over there. Now, if we're sitting on a normal chair with that curve, we're not getting any support for long periods of time. But if we lean back into that, that sort of adds as a cushion to that.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, which obviously helps give the support to the back that it needs, which is why we love this one with the upper back as well. We touched on this earlier.
Yes.
The other chair that we looked at only came up to about here. We got rid of that one because it was horrid. And so here you can see that you've got the full support. So this would be great for someone of any height because it's going to give you the support right up almost to the neck area as well. And that's what separates this chair from every other chair that you might have already. And of course, the technology and the patented design that you've got with this chair is what separates it from every other chair that's there. Let's show you this versus an ordinary chair versus a dual. So the pressure is dispersed unevenly, causing the misaligned pelvis. On the left, you can see that. And of course, it's going to do the misaligned pelvis and going to give you a twisted spine. And that's just the case with normal standard chairs. Now, the Hara chair, of course, is dispersing evenly to align the pelvis to help with you avoiding any kind of twists or pressure areas that's going to cause the pain and obviously going to help you maintain better posture. It makes, I mean, now that I see it, it makes complete sense, doesn't it? When we talk about the fact that you've got the two either side, it's going to help support either side. Now, you could spend, like Gabby spent thousands of dollars on a bed, which is a great investment because you're sleeping every day. But you'll be spending a lot of time, no doubt, in a chair. And if you are someone that sits in a chair at the moment at long times, this is something that you could buy from us today that's worth every dollar simply because it's going to help and support your back. You might have no back problems now. Get one of these and keep that, or you might be having back problems. This could possibly help you over time by giving you the right support. Now, Indira, can I ask you, for those that might think, it's too late, my back's gone, I've got bad posture, I've got a chair, that'll do, my posture's not very good, that's just the way I have to live now. Is there any way people can turn it around and change?
Well, the change will be gradual.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going to be overnight magic pill sort of
Course.
thing. But it's better than it getting worse. So if you can maintain some sort of good quality of life and better function, and with this you're always reminded to be aware, to get up, to stretch, to do all of that, it's much better than saying, oh, it's too late now.